Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you. Again, I am Muhammad Izzuddin Zamri. Today's topic is about the packaging of nutraceutical products. This is the outline for today's lecture. We will start with the introduction of the packaging, the packaging materials, and then we go to the packaging closures. So, packaging is defined as a product that made of any materials of any nature, such as materials like steel, boxes, or plastics, and it to be used for the containment, protection, handling, delivery, and presentation of goods. Okay, the goods is from the raw materials to the processed good or the finished product, from the producer to the user or the consumer. Okay, packaging had been implemented since the first humans started making use of tools, and it had been used in ancient time. For example, the animal skins and hollowed out fruit husk is used to carry the water, and then the grass is woven together into basket and pannier to carry food and goods, and then the leaf used to wrap the meat for the preservation purposes. And the latter example of packaging that we can see is the clay pots that been used for to store the grains, to store the salt and oil, and the latter century is the glass bottles and jar that have been used to store oils and perfumes. Today's packaging has a wider roles, which is to protect the product, and for the marketing, also for the marketing, and also for the convenience to carry the product. There are different levels of packaging. Three levels basically, which are the primary packaging, the secondary packaging, and tertiary packaging. So the primary packaging is a packaging which surrounds or in direct contact with the product, and the primary packaging finds its way into the domestic waste or recycle stream once the product is used up or finished up. So the example of the primary packaging is the HDPE bottles or amber glass bottles, as you can see in the picture at the right side of this slide. And then the secondary packaging is the consecutive covering to package the primary packaging, or to group the packs together for ease of handling. For example, is the flavored effervescent glows boxes. It used to pack together 2 tubes of the primary packaging, and also as you can see here is the BioLife fish oil. The secondary packaging here is the shrink wrap, okay, and the primary packaging that had been grouped up by the shrink wrap is the amber glass bottle, okay. Usually, secondary packaging is used for the shelf-ready packaging. As you can see here, the flavored effervescent glow is a shelf-ready packaging. So when the pharmacy or the outlet receive the product, they can be used directly to the shelf. Okay. And then the example of the secondary packaging, like I said before, is the shrink wrap film, board, and thermoformed plastic trays. For the tertiary packaging, it is used to collect secondary packaging for ease of transport. Usually, the example of the tertiary packaging is the corrugated box, the pallet with the stretch wrap film, as you can see in the bottom right of the picture, and also roll cages and also crate. About 70% of packaging is used for food and beverage industry, and then the remaining of them is used in other industry such as pharmaceutical, nutraceutical that we will discuss today, the beauty products, the chemical, clothing, electronic and electrical equipment. The global packaging industry have the value of 400 billion, which accommodate for 36% paper and board, 34% plastics, 17% metals, which is steel and aluminium, 10% glass, and 3% wood and textiles. Today we will discuss 6 roles of or 6 functions of packaging. First one is containment, protection, preservation, provides convenience, exhibit product information, and also marketing. We will go one by one. Packaging holds the function of containment. So it has to provide complete containment for the product, which prevent leakage or loss of product. It also keeps a number of different or same items packed together, such as in secondary packaging, okay, and the tertiary packaging also. And it must be intact in order to serve its purpose as the containment throughout the expected product shelf life, including numerous handling stages uh, until the end of the packaging line to final consumer use. It must be intact. And then the leakage, because the leakage leads to loss of a selling function. No one want to purchase a leak product, right? And also it can affect the neighboring product. So it will cause a much loss than the leak product itself. The second roles or function of packaging is it have to give the protection to the product. The protection is in terms of the prevention or minimizing the physical, chemical, and also environmental damage to the product throughout the shelf life. The physical protection is the protection from the shock, vibration, compression, puncture, and tempering. Usually, physical protection is needed when in the process of the transportation from the factory, from the manufacturer to the pharmacy outlet or to the end user. The example of the chemical protection is the protection from the leaches of the packaging chemicals and packaging product interaction. So the packaging materials such as plastic should not have interaction or reaction with our product. It will affect the quality of the product and also it will affect the safety of the product. For environmental protection, for example, is the protection from the relative humidity, temperature changes, light, dust or dirt, and insect or rodents such as rat and ant or the mice, etc. The third role or function of packaging is preservation. So the packaging have to preserve our product throughout the shelf life to maintain the quality of product. So preservation can be achieved by the prevention or reduction of changes due to biological and chemical hazard, which leads to the product spoilage. And it also has the roles to extend the shelf life of a product. The preservation method can be determined right after we know the product spoilage mechanism. So the packaging should have a direct or supporting roles, or we can say direct or indirect roles in maintaining the preservation. What is direct and indirect roles? Okay, for example, gain of moisture causing lump to the product. So as I mentioned before, the preservation method can be determined right after we know the product spoilage mechanism. So here, the gain of moisture causing lump to the product is the product spoilage mechanism. So we can decide the method of preservation. The method of preservation for the gain of moisture is the use of appropriate moisture barrier pad. So this is the direct roles of the packaging that have the product the moisture sensitive, for example. Okay. The second example is the certain temperature promotes microbial growth. Okay. So the method of preservation here is chilling or freezing. The packaging rarely have the function of chill and freezing. So the packaging supporting roles or indirect roles is it require the packaging to withstand the storage temperature. That's the indirect or supporting roles of the packaging. I hope you understand. To make you more understand about the indirect or direct roles of the packaging material. So here, I give you more example of it. This is the direct roles, okay, direct roles, and this is the support example of the supporting roles of the packaging in preservation of the product. The next roles and function of packaging is the provides convenience. So the packaging design must be built to make handling easy, for the convenient and safe. The potential damage to the product and also the potential damage to the people that handle the packaging can be minimized if the design is ergonomically sound for the product to be picked up, to be held, to be opened, or to be unpacked. For example, here is the Tupperware bottles. It is used to package the water. Okay, so the design here is curvy, so it is ergonomic if we hold like this. It will also minimize the risk for the bottle to fall off the floor. Apart from the providing convenience to the end consumers, the packaging design should also consider on the convenience, on the filling and packaging process in the manufacturing facility. The next function or roles of the packaging is exhibits product information. So the packaging provides the ideal means of delivering valuable information to anyone engaged in the handling of the product as well as the final consumer. For example, the packaging provides the information like a printed label on the packaging or the paste label on the packaging that show all the information about the raw materials or about the product. So the basic information that usually needed is the product identity, the use of the product, the weight or volume of the product, the manufacturer's name and address, the expiry date, ingredient list, batch number, uh, and any relevant warning statement. For nutraceutical product to be marketed in Malaysia, we will discuss the labeling requirement in the next slide. The final roles of function of packaging is marketing. So packaging plays a selling role as a silent salesman. So you don't have to worry to hire a promoter to promote your product. The packaging can be the silent salesman because it is used as the mean of attracting the customer with a combination of graphic, interesting color, shape, and size of pack. For example, you go to the Watson, you go through, scan through the shelf, and one product catch your eyes. The product must have the packaging design that is special, or the color that is striking, or the packaging that is cute, or easy to handle, easy to hold. Okay, so it can play the selling role as a silent salesman. So in this slide, I outline all the factors to be considered in packaging selection. So the packaging selection have to consider the product content or pack size. If the pack size is 90 tablets or 90 capsule, the packaging have to have the big suitable size to contain all the 90 tablets or 90 capsule. And second one is it have to consider the product stability. So if the product is have the oxygen sensitive or light sensitive, so the packaging have to have the barrier to light or have to barrier to the oxygen or to the air. Okay, the third one is the product form. So the packaging should suitable with the product form. Maybe the product is in the liquid form, so the packaging have to be bottle or have to be tube, for example. And the fourth one is the packaging product compatibility. So the packaging material used in the packaging have to be compatible with the product. So the packaging should not have any interaction with the product, chemically or physically. And then the packaging process itself. So if the packaging process used automated equipment, so the packaging have to compatible with the machine. That's what we call the have to consider for the packaging process. And the last one is the regulatory. So for example, in the regulation, we have to use the children-proof cap of the packaging for the dosage form of soft gel with tail or twist and squeeze. So the packaging also have to consider the regulatory regulation. Okay, now we'll proceed to the pack size determination for nutraceutical product. According to the DRGT, for tablet, pills, and capsules, the maximum pack size allowed is based on the daily dosing for a quantity of not exceeding 6 months of usage. For example, multivitamin capsules. The usual usage is 1 tablet per day. So if it is 6 months of usage, the maximum pack size allowed is only 180 days. It is different for the product with disease risk reduction claim, or we call as high claim. The maximum pack size allowed for high claim product is only 1 month of supply, unless the company can justify why they want a bigger pack size. Okay, I can give you one example of the disease risk reduction claim product, which is Nova Lipiros. So the dose of Nova Lipiros is 2 tablets per day. So the maximum pack size allowed is only 60 tablets per pack size. Okay. Packaging and environment are very closely related, because if we use packaging wisely, we will also preserve the environment. Packaging will adversely affect the environment by the escalation of the waste production. This will lead to the climate change and disruption, and this will affect our future generations. That's why countries in the world have enforced laws and regulations to control the packaging usage and to control the disposal of the packaging. Malaysia also have the law and regulation for the packaging, but it is not as specific as European Union have. Malaysia have the Relatable Act and Regulation of Packaging, which are Environmental Quality Act 1974, which have the Basic Act, which covers waste management as part of the broader law, and also Environmental Quality Regulation 2005, as well as Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Act 2007, or we call as Act 672, which outline more specific regulations that define the solid waste and household waste and also hazardous waste. Malaysia also have the roadmap towards the zero single-use plastics 2080 to 2030, which outlines the plans and policies to abolish single-use plastic by 2030. Malaysia also target to have the widespread uptake of biodegradable and compostable product by 2022, and a substantial increase of such products by 2030, as well as increasing the scope of the biodegradable and compostable to medicinal products.